name is. Get ready for the big surprise. I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately. Answered immediately. I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately. Answer the question. Answer the question. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
You are now tuning into the coolest talk radio around. You are about to embark on an amazing journey through the cosmos. Be prepared to listen to the coolest talk radio around. Yes, you're listening here live to the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show here on this Wednesday night. We kick it here from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe in Antarctica. Let me see if I can try to do this in a British accent. You're listening here to the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. We rock it here from coast to coast, from north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. So, be sure to also follow and like and subscribe to our other social media platforms. Be sure to follow us on our YouTube and TikTok channel, which is both titled The Coolly Cool Show. You can also be sure to follow us on our Instagram page at Brent_the_champ, and also be sure to follow us at our Twitter account at CoollyCool2412. And be all sure that if you miss any of the episodes here on the coolest of the cool show, you can be sure to pick us up on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and of course, Spreaker.com. Yes, we're about to get started in just a couple of seconds here on the best talk radio podcast anywhere in the observable universe. Yep, about to get started in just a second. Make sure everything's good to go. Mm-hmm. Now, you are in tune with the coolest talk radio show around. We reach from here to the observable universe. We are intergalactic, reaching the cosmos. All other life forms tune into this show because we're so damn cool. You're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. Now, without further ado, the man that is bringing you the absolute coolness, none other than your host, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Drop it to the flow. Oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Cooley Cool Show with your host Brent, kicking here on this Wednesday night. Yes, indeed. So the topic of discussion, balloons, the new fear. Is it, or is it just craziness and unbelievably ridiculousness to go along with it, and other conspiracy theories? So, for the past couple of weeks, I've been talking about this. Has been some weirdness that's going on, and I mean, virtually the month of February so far has been kind of a strange one. I mean, balloons are putting fear in the hearts and minds of damn near almost every single person that cannot critically think or is able to have common sense. People are talking about what these balloons are capable of, what they're able to do, what is the government and the military's doing to combat these balloons. That now these balloons have somehow turned into or manifest themselves into the hearts and minds of all these, I guess, UFO community people that see this as an area to where they're not balloons. They're something else. They're possibly extraterrestrial life, aliens, and that they're being covered up by the government, the United States especially, and that maybe the entire world of the secret governments of the elites and their government powers are hiding the truth from the people. So, the month of February has been a weird one, a very interesting one, a very precarious month, so to speak. But yet we are not even finished with the month of February. So what will February have entailed for us? For apparently balloons, probably sales have probably gone up or have gone down, depending on how you look at it. But that's the title of this episode. It's Balloons, the New Fear. So, I mean, you know, when we first heard about the situation as far as balloons and the whole China government, and they've said, oh, that's our surveillance spy balloon, whatever. They admitted that that was their balloon and had their, just name on it, and they kind of owned up to it. And frankly, it's then put a lot of thought process, made a lot of people start to, just start to point their own way to certain things of thinking, and it started to pave the way for people to come up with their own type of narrative, then having the fake news, fake media make their own crazy stories and concoctions. I mean, this has spiraled to the point where, you know what, I think if I were to go into a store buying balloons, even if it was for a birthday party, buying balloons, I might get scrutinized for it. I might go to the cash register, going to purchase the balloons, and then they're looking at me like, "You're really buying balloons? You support balloons?" This, look here, guys. He's buying balloons. Really? I'd probably get ostrated because I'm just buying some balloons. This is what's happened because there's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put it in the air, huh? Should make the rest of us think that there's something going on, or are you just covering up for the government, trying to put more balloons in the air so that way we can confuse us all? We know there's aliens out there. Oh, we know there's spy balloons out there. We know other countries are spying. You know what the fuck? It is just absolutely absurd on the level of, things that are going on in this world. I mean, seriously, balloons at this point in time, it's looking kind of scary because people don't know what many of these balloons, so called, have been spotted, around the country, and it's not just been around the United States; it's been around other countries. I mean, I touched on it just kind of briefly that how one of China's balloons, spied balloons, was floating over Latin America. And the Venezuelan president, he was like, "Oh shit, it is what it is. It's Big Brother looking out for us." Yeah, because you're a socialist country, and frankly, you don't mind that your big buddy China is, doing things like that. You were kind of glad that they came flying over. You probably smiled for the take. Hey, it's all good. It's all fun. Cool. We got you. No worries. Just seems kind of suspect because you know damn well if the United States did that, got caught and admitted to it, you'd probably say, "Look, you can't trust them damn Americans. See how they are? Sneaky son of a bitches. You sorry, some bitches. You always spying on everybody because you want to take over the goddamn world." I mean, and one could probably say is, well, we're not trying to take over the world, nor less do we want to take over the world. But frankly, when you have places in other areas where there's always huge conflicts, and you kind of have to be like, look, we at one point in time was like, y'all handle your own business, but then you found out that they really couldn't handle the business because everybody in the countries and over there in that continent just don't like each other. Well, now it's not so much where they just don't like each other. It's more of a political banter than anything else. It's kind of a give and pull. It's like, I got what you need what I got. So we'll just help each other out, but yet we're not going to put it on paper, but we're going to do things behind closed doors in order to get our message across. If you believe it or not, the way wars or the way of things of thinking back in the day between countries as far as conflicts, it's no longer like the old World War I and World War II era. Everything's pretty much, when they talk about conflicts, they're talking about certain things that are doing in order to sway the thoughts or influence others. And sometimes this will be a prolonged time period. I mean, I read an article earlier this week or last week where the Taliban were sick and tired of the 9 to 5 grind that they have to run their country, and they was kind of like, this is a lot of work, to run a country, and they were, and this is the article, they were kind of complaining, and I was like, what the hell? I mean, you want your country and you got it. And I remember I said maybe this was the whole objective of the United States was to put a 20+ year con and to have them eventually take over and then place work ethic and work, routine to, the people in Afghanistan, the Taliban. And now it's come to fruition, so a mission accomplished. We've got capitalism going on right now, even though they say it's no, but maybe this is what's going on. It's like, hey, this is how you're going to make money. You're going to have to work this grind. And shit, okay, like I said, I guess underlining the story in reference to that, I mean, shit, you never know. But, with the whole situation as far as these balloons, man, but I say, it's taken a life form on its own. People are just thinking other things. I mean, it's fueled so much stuff within the past week and a half to where people are just I don't know. Everything you look at, you find out it's a balloon. When they first talked about the balloons, it was like, oh, it's a huge surveillance, balloon. They were breaches, national security and all this other stuff. And then people was like, well, if they're able to do this, they could put an EMP on the balloons and just drop it over and, take out all their Facebook and, and Twitter and all this other stuff. And, oh, damn, TikTok's gone too. Oh, shit. And send us back to the caveman time. Now, that's what the early stages talks was when they were first discovered it and noticed it. I was like, oh, it's a balloon. Okay. Weather balloon. And I was like, oh, it's flying over Montana. First thing I thought was like, okay, Bigfoot lives in Montana. I guess the Chinese was going ahead and trying to figure out where Bigfoot is, or compare Bigfoot that's living in Montana to the ones they have up in the Himalayan mountains. And they don't call it Bigfoot, but they call it the Yeti, aka the abominable snowman. So they wanted to figure, if Bigfoot had a, twin brother or half brother, so to speak. But, it's nothing's ever been proven, even though I think Bigfoot's the most elusive, creature on the planet to, so-called be seen, but yet be able to get away and be undetected, as big as that, Bigfoot is. I mean, shit, at a point in time, you would have thought the dude or some type of remnants would have been discovered or found, but no. There's nothing. So that leaves another thing is are we talking the same thing, or are we talking maybe possibly an ape like that just happened to be took out of content? But who knows? But with these balloon things, it's created life forms on. Now, since the United States has confirmed 3 other sightings since the original first one, and there's been the U.S. has apparently, they believe, shot down 2, or I think it might have been, they shot down, total 3 balloons. I'm sorry, 1 balloon, 2 other unidentified flying objects, which they're now, the title is going to be going back to what it was originally for, as UFOs, because there are unidentified flying objects. But as how people are, people assume, oh, UFO, we're talking aliens. We're talking extraterrestrial life forms that have now breached our freaking, airspace. And these aliens are pissed off because we're shooting them down and we don't even know what we're doing. I mean, like I said, this is blown up to the point where shit just seems like it's just clicking. Like things are going and there's no stopping it because people are feeding into this whole thing. I mean, I'm just, seeing the stuff that I'm hearing, I'm bringing it to people because I'm very real with my show. I'm very real as far as certain things. When I talk about stuff on my podcast, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, the aliens, I think they're coming here to take over. I mean, I told you how I felt about aliens. I mean, first of all, if an alien civilization are coming here, flying in balloons, they ain't that advanced. And they ain't that damn fucking technological at that point. I mean, how long did it take them to get over here? That's what I would have to assume. I mean, have to have common sense with this. And that's what I talk about on my podcast is, common sense and not being fed the fucking bullshit that we continuously see. I mean, and trust me, we're very naive to it because we all fall prey to it. And we all and you buy into it. Like, think for a minute when you were younger, because, the first time you saw somebody perform a magic trick, either a sleight of hand, a card vanishing and then reappearing, or, you have your pop, your uncle, somebody had a coin trick and he's made it disappear in his hand. And then you're like, oh, it's in your hand. And then you revealed it and it's gone. And then you noticed, hey, it's an other hand. As a small kid, you was like, wow. It wasn't until you grasped a little bit and got some little common sense to be like, there is no way for you to put that damn coin in your hand and then close it up real quick. And as you close it up real quick, your hand is empty. And as it's empty, and it's now another hand. You get older, you start to go ahead and you start to figure things out, be like, oh, there's no fucking way. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. You know? And that's, well, sometimes with the common sense has to come into play with a lot of things. I mean, look, I'm looking at an article here. It says, where's this article from? I have to read this. This is the New York Post. This is why the sudden surge in UFO sightings after Chinese balloon saga, because people are fueling their own thoughts of mind. They had one spotted that was confirmed that was a Chinese spy balloon, and then next know there's 3 other incidents. So these 3 other incidents, and then the U.S. shoots down 2. So at that point in time, you end up having situations that tend to, people start to make their own fucking thought process. And this touches base as the recent publication spat of UFO spider over North America has left some wondering whether aliens are invading Earth. But the reason for the sightings is not so out of this world, experts say. Who are these fucking experts that are fucking saying this shit? Because to me, they are not experts. They're fucking people that are trying to start and create fucking crazy thought process in the people. You mean, literally, it literally says, has some wondering whether aliens are invading Earth. But the reason for the sightings is not so out of this world. So it's not just experts say so. It's probable, but it's not so out of this world. Wondering whether aliens are invading Earth? What the fuck? So this is, at any given moment, thousands of balloons float thousands of feet above the Earth, above the ground, including many sent aloft by the U.S. government and military and private entities. It's called Industries, a maker of high altitude balloons in Melbourne, Florida. Okay, that's nothing unusual. So there's hundreds of these that are, maybe thousands that are put in the air every day, or so we think. It says, while the objects have been observed by pilots, military personnel, and civilians, it only seems as if there are more, at least partly because the recent sightings being publicized. Experts says, well, that could be, true. Because people now are taking notice of it, like, oh shit, I see it now. There's another one right there, man. There's another fucking there. There's another one. I think it's a balloon, but I don't know what the fuck it is. Because people are now paying attention more to the sky than as before. They're not really looking in the sky. So you have all these fucking, people now, like I said, looking into the sky more than they did beforehand because they want to capture something and they want to know whether or not it's a balloon or it's an alien or what the fuck is it? Are we being invaded? Well, if you, let go a couple of balloons, who's going to know? They're like, oh shit, there's a whole bunch of balloons. Which one is it? I bet if you let a whole couple of balloons go and then maybe hit an alien balloon within it, you're still going to be like, what the fuck? I mean, just gets completely more stupid. It says, for years, you didn't hear anything about balloons. Yeah, of course. No one gave a shit because balloons, us was like, yeah, we know there's some high altitude research balloons, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we got it. Now we're on the lookout for any kind of flying object. And this person is a professor of atmospheric science at the University of Wayne. So they're holding a level of credibility listening to this guy just completely talk. And people read it and they'd be like, well, he's got to be right. He's a scholar. He's highly educated. He's a professor. He can't be not knowing what he's talking about. It says U.S. Air Force fighter jets recently shot down 4 suspicious objects in a little over a week. So I think, okay, that's not 4. I thought it was 3. Famously beginning with a Chinese spy balloon that was down over the Atlantic Ocean after it traversed the entire country. It didn't traverse the entire country. It just traversed a certain regional part, which, I don't know. But I thought there was a cold front came in anyway, so I still don't understand how that weather balloon came this way and didn't get drifted off. But that's for another topic of discussion. I mean, theories, they shot it down, they targeted, and put the balloon down, okay? Now, they have salvaged that balloon that was shot off the coast of, North Carolina. Probably want to go there to look at, Myrtle Beach, check to make sure they can get their rental property going before the prices skyed up, for the end of the spring, summer. And then it says three additional unidentified. There we go. Three additional unidentified flying objects. One over Alaska on Friday. A small metallic balloon. So wait a minute. They're now confirming that's a metallic balloon over northern western Canada on Saturday. Wait a minute. Oh no. One over Friday. A small metallic balloon over northwestern Canada on Saturday, and a third octagonal object over Lake Huron on Sunday were then ordered shot down by President Biden. So one of them was a small metallic balloon that was over northern western Canada, and a third one octagonal. So where are we getting, they're now confirming as far as what it looked like. How are you going to tell whether it's metallic balloon? You're just going off by sheer probably what it might have looked like. Just whatever. The last three objects have not been linked to China. So those last three ones that apparently we, took care of business and took them down have not been linked to China, other countries, or aliens for that matter. Okay, good. At least we're not saying it's fucking aliens. But they're not sure whether it's from other countries or aliens. So they don't fucking know. But it could be, high school, student club that decides to, set some balloons off, and they just said, well, we don't have the funding to go after it or chase it, and we don't know where it's going. So we tried. It is what it is. Now, here's the thing. If any of you have watched anything where people have done their own testings and have set balloons up into the sky to do some type of experimentation or whatever they're trying to do, you can find videos of this, of people doing this, average, regular Joe citizen people doing this, who have manufactured and made their own type of balloons to be able to be high altitude ones at that, and they've launched it out there. So, there's YouTubers have done this, different other people, like I said, could be a science class from a local high school that's done it. It's endless possibilities, because you don't know, because one, you don't have to register a fucking balloon. Two, who's really keeping track of the balloons other than the individuals do with the balloons who's doing their own thought process? And if they lose it, they're like, well, fuck it, it's so far up there, I can't fucking see it anymore. So, maybe attach a GoPro to it and see what happens. It's a lot of stuff going on right now, and people are fueling their own, crazy thought process in this. They're showing fighter jets, and I'm reading more of this, and it's just like a former NORAD commander suggested Monday that the most recently shot down trio may have been launched by non-Chinese adversaries to test the U.S.'s reaction. So they're just trying to see whether or not we're responding in a way that just kind of causes for, like, see, the United States is paranoid. But I've said this before. I said the United States is the most paranoid country in the world. It's because we're worried about what everything happens everywhere else, and it's damn right so. Because it's been shown that other countries around the world don't know how to fucking handle their business. And they always need America, good old US of A, to try to help their ass out. And as I said before, all the countries around the world, despite whether or not they, have it on paper as being friends or not, every country helps each other out. They do. All right? If you really think for a minute and you sit here and you try to dabble on it a little bit, do you really think that the United States and Russia and China don't secretly talk to each other behind closed doors and try to say, hey, man, we need to work on something like this together, blah, blah, X, Y, A? Trust me, they do. They're just not going to publicly state they do, unless they have something to gain for it, where they try to make whatever they're doing very marketable in the overall scheme of what I've been saying all along. It's a money issue. They're there to make money, because the United States is a business. Yes, we're a country, home of the free, land of the free, home of the brave. I almost messed that one up. And guaranteed, We are a business. Literally, a business. It's like the United States. It's, I think, one movie that Brad Pitt had said in the movie. I think it was Killing Me Softly. I think that was the movie. And he said something about, he's like, America's a business. So fucking pay me. And that is exactly what America is. We're the best business to do business. And if you fuck with our business, we're going to fuck with you. Get it right. Understand it. Don't be fucking played by the bullshit that you see on social media or in the fucking newspapers or on the fucking news that want to get their fucking ratings up. I told you. Here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolie Cool Show, I'm going to bring to you shit that's real. Common sense. Don't think too hard into it. It's not that hard to think into it. It's very common sense. The most complex idea is actually the most simplest idea. But too many people think too much into the shit. So it has its ups and downs as far as how the shit gets played out. So, reading a little bit more into this and simply blah 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 blah. On what the U.S. government now refers to. Oh my gosh! Now the UAPs, like they can't decide UFOs or UAPs. So it says unidentified aerial phenomenal. What the? Who the fuck gives a fuck of the name? It's just fucking UFO. Like, why are we trying to make it change so much to where the fucking title is being changed sometimes to, or it's a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Just like what Ella Kuzma, something like a phenomenon. There's something like a phenomenon. Yeah, something like a phenomenon. So we're just gonna go on the bend of just changing it to whatever sounds good or whatever. So I mean, goddamn, it is just, I don't know. But we're gonna go into another article that I happen to see if I can pull it up, if it actually ever gets pulled up because of the situation. Oh, here we go. So, in another article, Japan and Taiwan say they will shoot down Japanese balloons after suspected incursion. So let's just put it in retrospect to this situation. Now, Japan and Taiwan, I mean, we're talking about balloons. And like, and that's why I said the title of this episode is Balloons Are, is the balloons the new fear? So, I mean, literally, it just, let's read into this a little bit. In the intermediate aftermath of the shoot down of the Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina on February 4th, attention turned toward potential incursions in Japan and Taiwan. Well, we do know this. It's not really incursions into Japan, but we do know that China, for the longest time, is kind of itching and moving a little closer, doing their little exercises towards Taiwan because they want Taiwan back. But let's get this straight. We know that China is not going to try to invade Taiwan, nor less are they ever going to try to invade Taiwan. It's all a ploy and a tactic that they use to try to show their might and strength. It's very common if you think about it, because in this day and age, even if you were to try to invade that type of country, what are you going to do? Really try to fight off the rest of the world? Because that's what's going to happen. So China's got to give credit to them. They're not that dumb to go ahead and do something like that. Even though you have media and other people will try to talk and say, well, they're going to do it. They're just waiting for the right time to do it. Oh, really? So they're going to risk starting a World War III on behalf of their what? To get Taiwan? That doesn't make any sense. Like, over one country that's over, just Jesus goodness. So, let me finish reading this. That took place before awareness of balloon-related operations was common practice. So, apparently, this has been going on for quite some time over Japan and Taiwan. You would probably think that maybe we probably could have heard about this a long time ago. But we probably have, because considering the fact with balloons, there are a ton of them launched every day. Taiwanese officials have acknowledged the presence of different types of balloons like objects near over Taiwan over the past 2 years. So this is nothing new. We know that the China government is just spying and doing their thing, but think about it. I always like to put it this way, and I will forever put it this way. If China's doing this with these balloons, then, spying on people, what do you think the United States has as far as spying on other countries? Like, being China's using balloons and trying to cover it up, say, oh, it's just a weather civilian unmanned balloon, and we're just going. No. Think about it. Yeah, the United States has spy stuff, but are we really putting all that stuff out there for discovery? No, not really. Not that I've heard, not that I've seen, or anything like that. I know there was a period of time where there was a blimp that was placed in a certain regional area, and it was placed so high you could actually see it. And this was like several years ago. Now, I recall myself having seen this, and it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. And when it wasn't out of the ordinary, it was just like, oh, okay, I see it, and people knew about it. But then it was at a point in time where they're like, okay, and then all of a sudden, what ended up happening is the U.S. pretty much was like, we're scrapping the program, and apparently the program for that blimp was like $30 billion. First of all, you do not scrap a project that's $30 billion. All right? I don't give a shit what anybody says. All right, first of all, if you're going to believe the government to say, we just scrapping that project that cost $30 billion, fuck it, why not? We're just going to move on to something else. It doesn't fucking happen. All right? It's never going to happen. $30 billion? Ah, fuck it. Shit, it didn't work out. Back to the drawing board. Fuck it. No. When it's happened, you just place that shit somewhere else to where people no longer can see it. That's exactly what the United States did. They placed it somewhere to where no one can see it other than the people they want to see it. And frankly, the United States is that good where you ain't gonna see shit until the last goddamn minute. So that's on the red. That's on the red. So, I mean, you can believe what you want. You can believe into the false narrative of a lot of social media outlets trying to paint their picture on a certain narrative just to kind of, hey, what's going on? This is what's happening. This is how it's going down. You're sadly mistaken. It's not how it's going down. It's not the way it's going to go down. As I said before on my show, gotta have a little common sense perspective on a lot of things and being able to dismiss the bullshit. As I always said too, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Stop trying to look and see what the man behind the curtain is doing. You are not supposed to. You're not authorized. So head straight, look forward, and shut up and enjoy the damn show. Because apparently that's what they want us all to do, is sit down like nice little boys and girls and enjoy the show. Don't worry that the magician fucked up. Trust me, he didn't mean to fuck up. He's just doing his job to entertain you, which is what they're doing. Entertaining everybody. But guess what? You know what? You know what happens when they entertain everybody and they put on a real good show? You get a lot of people want to go home and practice on trying to be like that magician. And trust me, that's what the American and other people around the world are doing. They're coming up with vain fantasies, plant things in people's heads, putting videos and stuff up about, I done seen an alien. I done seen a fucking spaceship. I done seen the mothership. That's what they're doing. I have seen so many fucking videos, especially the ones on TikTok, where people's like, I don't know what this is. It's an alien invasion. They're coming down. You're talking about balloons, talking about EMPs, then all of a sudden the shit switched to fucking aliens in your backyard, coming over for the cookout, aliens going to Walmart, getting flowers and chocolates for their alien fucking, womans or whatever the fuck. It's been switched and flipped its script so fucking much at this point in time, you don't even know what the hell is going on, to be honest. I mean, technically, would you recognize if there was an alien right next to you? Maybe, I don't know, maybe some of y'all probably would, I don't know, or some of y'all probably say, that motherfucker over there is an alien, and literally not saying in a sense of extraterrestrial, maybe because you just don't like the motherfucker. I don't know. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Men, human beings, can be corrupted. And they corrupt it in order to feed their own agenda. In order to make the overall, what have I said before? The dollar bill, y'all. It is what it is. It's the world we live in. I'm telling you. And it's nothing but the truth. It is the truth. So you guys better get hip to it, because I'm still trying to wonder if we're talking about this early on in this 2023, what else are we in store? What else is the rest of the world and governments are going to come out with? I mean, I told you, this is what is fueling a lot of things. I say it before. I said it's probably because of what? Space programs. Money is being allocated and siphoned out to these space programs because space has been kind of lagging in the past couple of years. No one really giving it the rat's ass, because maybe more and more people are starting to figure out, why the fuck do we need to go to Mars? There's no sense of having to fucking go there if it's going to take so long. They've been planning this for so many times. Then they were saying, we're going to go back to the moon. Then they were like, why do we need to go back to the moon? We've been there. We've already been to the moon. We're going to do next exploration of human to Mars. Wow. So we're going to send somebody who's going to get the worst ticket to go to Mars, which is a one-way ticket, not a round trip. So we're going to do this with not that much of a, technological advances in space travel, but we're going to try to send somebody to Mars to live on and all this other shit. Right? We're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. That's what we do. But that's where money is allocated. And people say, well, you said in the last podcast that America has endless amounts of money. Yeah, but you can't really fucking go ahead and just publicize that. You can't. You still need to go ahead and get other people to buy your bullshit. Just saying, look how it is. And I'm telling you, it's all funded and fueled because space. No one's investing in it. Now, I'm not saying the space travel and all this other stuff doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, and I'm saying this clear and concise, that it's being fueled by space with everything that happens, because they need the money. They need investors. They need people paying into this, because if they're trying to plan it, what is it? It's like a vacation. If you're going to take a vacation, you're obviously going to be able to budget and to figure out how much you're going to need for this vacation that you plan on taking. And you want to have room of comfort so you don't have to worry while you're on vacation. This is the same thing. It's very simple. It's not complex. But though many people make it complex. So I'm just letting people know. So, and no, we didn't came to another end of a wonderful episode here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show, with your host Brent, kicking here live on this Wednesday night. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. Follow me on my TikTok channel and YouTube channel. It's to Coolly Cool Show. You can follow me on my Twitter account at CoollyCool2412. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent_the_channel. You can also, if you missed the episode here and you want to hear from the beginning, you can also follow on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also Spreaker.com. We're the only show that I'm telling you, we rock it from coast to coast, from north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if in Antarctica, if you can hear us, we're rocking the cosmos all the way out to observing the universe. So, you're here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. So take care. Good night.